We're here today with Amir Madison. He is a yoga instructor. He has his own yoga company called YogiAthlete, and he is just recently the Nike training app yoga guy. So he may be a familiar face to some of us. Welcome, Amir.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me here. And it's a pleasure to be here. So
good. Well, let's dive into it. For some of us, yoga is this difficult, but it's this word that you hear thrown around, has become mainstream, I would say, in terms of the word. Can you break down essentially what is the practice of yoga?
Yoga means to yoke, so to come together. But as far as mind, body, and spirit, when you think of yoga, everybody's thinking of everybody's coming together as a group, but you're internally coming together from your mind, body, and spirit. So the true essence of yoga is to yoke. Many people, anytime they hear yoga, they think of the asanas. So the asanas is pretty much the poses that you see on Instagram, right. Everybody doing tree pose and all that, triangle. Those are called the asanas, but that's only one limb of yoga. There's 8 limbs of yoga. Another limb of yoga is meditation. So you do a lot of the asanas to get into meditation. So to be able to hold stillness for long periods of time so where you're open, you know how people say sitting in Indian style or sitting in lotus.
Okay.
Lotus pose. So you're able to sit in a lotus pose and everything is relaxed. So you'll be able to find your stillness. So that's the scratching the surface of what yoga actually is, instead of people, when every time they hear, they're just oh yeah, yoga poses. Yeah, I know what yoga is, but it's more deeper than that. The other limbs, there's more of philosophy and understanding the niyamas and the yamas, and that's a whole nother dive. Yeah. So, but it's powerful, and I really think it's important for athletes to get into the scope of yoga and to bring that balance into their training, because once you bring that into your training, you become more of an elite athlete. A lot of the elite athletes do it as far as RP, Kobe, LeBron,
Aaron Rodgers, I know, does it.
Aaron Rodgers, but who's the other guy I'm trying to say right now?
Does Tom Brady?
Yeah. Brady. Those are all elite athletes.
Absolutely.
They're all elite. They have their game so where they're preserving their body so they can even play longer. Look how long Brady has played. Brady's been playing. He's 45?
Something.
Yeah.
They're getting deep.
Getting that into football, that's
oh yeah, football.
That's rough. Brett Favre. Brett Favre is one of the oldest that played in my generation that I know of. So just seeing Brady surpass Brett Favre is sheesh. But yeah, that's the whole essence of yoga.
So to your point, how we know you or knew of you, because you were that elite athlete, right? You were that football player. So how does a football player of an elite level get introduced to yoga? Specifically, how did you get introduced to yoga?
Well, how I got introduced was by a friend. A friend took me to a class. My mindset at the time, I was just finishing football training, and she would hit me up. It was you want to go to this yoga class? And it was what kind of yoga class? She's hot yoga. I'm okay. But my mentality at the time, I was just there's going to be some females there. So let me just
okay. We need motivation somewhere to get there.
Motivation
in different positions.
So I went, and I didn't really put any type of physicality to it like that at the time. So I went in thinking just oh, this is going to be some kumbaya something. I don't know. But when I noticed, and we got into the intense part of the yoga, and I noticed that I couldn't hold a posture to save my life. I couldn't stand on one leg to save my life. And I'm looking at all these people in here, older than me, younger than me, doing it it was nothing. Easy. And I'm over here looking around the room.
The elite athlete in the room.
Yeah, and
How does that make you feel?
I was like, I was way bigger than, I was like 220. I was like, I was the biggest guy in the room. Yeah. But I'm like struggling to hold something, and I'm like getting frustrated, and like I felt defeated. And that day, I was like, that day, I literally told myself, I'm like, I'm going to be in here every day. Every day I told myself, because I'm like, there's no way. Yeah, literally, like, because I was like, there's no way that I can't just stand on one leg. Like why? So that like really messed me up. So I literally I used to do my football training in the morning, and I would do yoga in the evening. I did it consistently for months, and nobody really, I tried to tell the homies about it, like, hey, come take the yoga class. But at the time, first time I took yoga was in like '08. Okay. And it was super taboo at the time. Like now it's a thing, it's like a thing right now. So, but at the time it was like, do yoga for what? Like, no. But I was like taking it like solo. I was the only black male in the room. And these studios, from myself, I got to practice yoga as an athlete. So I didn't do yoga after my athletics. I was pretty much, I want to say this was '08. So I was still in college, and it went on to like me playing professionally. Okay. And when I was taking it, I took it towards my senior year in college, and I noticed how like the gameplay was starting to slow down for me. I noticed like I wasn't so much in my head like I used to be. So for myself, I played cornerback in football on defense. So with defense, you got to read a lot of the plays. You got to know where the receiver is going, where the H is going. You got to look. There's a lot of stuff. So my brain used to be like, because we used to have like a stack on a playbook, and you're trying to remember everything. No way. It's just a lot to think about. But I felt like that actually helped me slow down and have fun out there, and just not just, I got to do this, or I can just have fun. I can play freely. And I noticed that my lung capacity was like stronger. There was times that I knew that I would feel fatigued. Can you explain that component? Because you wouldn't think that your lung. Think of it being cardio per se. Right. You think cardio like running. Right. Yeah. So for yoga, one of the most important parts in yoga is your breath. So it's called prana. So pranayama is deep breathing. So pranayama taps into your sympathetic nervous system, which is the calming effect of your nervous system. So once you really start to practice your breathing, it's a game changer. It's so. We needed more pranayama that one time that you showed us how to do it. I remember. Well, first, you're incredibly talented at what you do. And I remember the one time we tried with you, two things happened. One was, as you said, I've never felt that humbled as an athlete. Yeah. Just like, I don't even know what my toes feel like. They're so far away from where my hands are trying to be. And two, I was proud because I did master a position during that time, but it was the resting position. So I'm not sure. No, so that's key, right? To be able to because the first time I actually found a resting position, and which is savasana when you're laying down. Right. Like I broke down like in tears because I've never felt like that I never felt that. Wow. Like, I never know what that felt like. And when it's called savasana. So savasana is corpse pose, dead body pose. So that's how it felt. Yeah, that was it right there. That's the one. Right, that's the one. So when you're laying there, and I remember going into savasana when I was practicing at the time, I just used to fidget a lot. I would fidget, I would scratch my ear. I was always moving into a point where like I really found stillness, and I just let myself go. And it was like, this is something I like never felt before. So for me as an athlete, that also helped me to slow down in my game and in life in general. Is how I was just moving at the time. I went into arena football. So arena football is like hockey on turf. it's collisions like back to back to back. And there's like, I've been in a lot of awkward positions where I should have injured myself badly. But I know that me being able to be in a position and to like get out of it or like relax when that happens, it makes a difference into like your gameplay and like how to preserve yourself on the field and like off the field. Just getting into, and just for like basketball players too, you're coming up on that layup and you come down and you know, that ankle and it's a wrap, you're done for the day. But knowing how to like actually like land, like being self-aware of your movement. You know, as an athlete, we're just going off of talent and most of the time an instinct. But if you can put talent, instinct, and awareness together, that's like Deion Sanders or like level, like,
right.
like just having that body control, you know, being able to, if you look at the great athletes, they have a lot of body control and a lot of body awareness. They're able to like pause in a situation when everything's so fast. I call it like in the zone. So you're able to like sit, everything's going fast, but you're like moving in a slow pace while everything's coming at you full speed. That's how I look at it.
So, that's next level right there. Yeah. The everyday athlete, they don't have the capability to do that. And we're not trained to do that. Yeah, you know, so I think that speaks to the importance of a program like yours, which let's talk about your company, YogiAthlete. So tell us about YogiAthlete. And I love it. I love how you took yoga and athlete, you brought it together. That is, it's the that's sexy for the athlete. Make it sound like it belongs.
Definitely. I mean, I believe like when you hear YogiAthlete, you feel like an elite athlete, or you feel like Nike, or you feel like something like elite, like a YogiAthlete. Like, what is that? So for like YogiAthlete started in 2016. At the time, I was just practicing yoga before I became a teacher. I was in this transition into life after athletics, and I was in this limbo of not knowing what to do. I got a degree, and it was just like, I got a degree in social work. So I was working with kids for a while, but I just still wasn't feeling fulfilled. And my teacher at the time, she was like my coach in the yoga studio. So, you know, she knew everything that was going on, and she was like, "Hey, Amir, you ever thought about doing a teacher training?" And I was like, "Nah, not really." And she was like, "Well, think about it, you know, and you know, if you're available, you should do it. I think you'll be really great for athletes to, you know, to inspire to do yoga." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." After a career, I just ended up not knowing what to do. So I actually just did the teacher training because I was just in this weird space. And pretty much from there, the teacher training like changed my whole mindset, changed my life. And I just started teaching. And from there, I thought just about YogiAthlete. I'm like, man, I'm doing yogi. I'm like a yogi and an athlete. I'm like,
I love it. I love that.
I just started on my own at the time. And then my partner, I know you guys know Adrian.
What's up, girl?
We ended up connecting, and she's been my partner in it. She's the co-founder of YogiAthlete. She brings in the holistic aspect of YogiAthlete and what it means to bring in a holistic approach to athletes as well, to infuse mind, body, and sport into yoga, into an athlete. So YogiAthlete.
What I love about YogiAthlete is how you feel like you belong, no matter if you're a beginner, you're intermediate, never heard of yoga, it's first time hearing of yoga. Because sometimes I could tell you, we've talked about it, and we have friends like, yeah, let's go to the yoga studio. And it's this ritzy studio. You look around, it's like, nobody looks like me in here. These people look like they've been doing so. So representation matters, right, to make you feel comfortable. So, I mean, I think that's what I love about you, because we took your class and you look around, it's all kind of body shapes, you know, all heights, levels, and you make people feel like you belong here. No matter what, so you're happy too. Yeah, it's like, yes, you can't hold. Don't worry about it, girl. It's okay.
No, that's what's up. I appreciate that. I really feel that atmosphere or YogiAthlete, what it creates is a state of community of because everybody can think that they're an athlete and everybody can think that they're a yogi. Just a regular person, playing basketball in a recreational park, they feel like they're an athlete.
Oh yeah.
Your
weekend warriors, they are
right,
real.
Exactly. They ready.
They a breath away from the draft.
That 10-day, what's up?
They're ready. So you like, as an athlete, and then as a yogi, it's like, oh, well, I'm an athlete. Well, I think I can do yoga too. So I just feel like it brings everybody out, no matter your size, your color, or your weight. Anybody wants to try it.
I know you guys you launched your online program, right? Which is awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Can you tell us about it? Because I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is so affordable. Because that's another thing you think about as well. It's like, I want to do yoga, but man, it's expensive to get in there. Exactly. Especially during this time.
Exactly. Yeah. So we ended up launching our platform right after summer of the last year of the pandemic. It was a weird transition because, everybody was trying to figure out what to do next. And me and Adrian at the time were doing a lot of Instagram lives, like every day. We had a routine Monday through Saturday for 9 weeks straight.
Okay. Commitment.
And so it was a grind, and we were trying to just figure out, how can we manage this and not burn ourselves out? You're online, you don't know who's doing the workout. You can't see people like this on Instagram Live. You're just doing the workout and talking and hoping people are doing it. I had a friend one time, she was like, you really inspire me. I've been watching from my bed.
I just lay in the bed and watch you.
She was mastering the resting pose.
Yeah, she good. Oh, wow.
So we're like, okay, how can we, make this work for us and work for the people as well? So we ended up making a platform, and that's how the YogiAthlete platform started. Last year, we just went on tour. We drove from LA to Chicago. We had an athlete tour, and we went to Utah. We filmed in Utah. We filmed in Arizona. We filmed in Colorado, and we filmed in Chicago, and that was really fun. So we took a little tour with YogiAthlete. Now we have classes on demand on our platform. So we have about 50 classes. We should have. I personally feel like we should have more. Okay. But yeah, we have 50 classes at the moment. But we have yoga on demand. We have a playlist. There are recipes for athletes, just to live in a YogiAthlete lifestyle.
There's a lot there. Check out YogiAthlete.com.
Yeah, we are YogiAthletes.com. It's $19 a month. It's been going great. So I'm really happy about it. We're still going and doing our work. It's a lot going on.
Good things. Movement is good.
It's great.
When did the Nike training app come in? I know I like to go through that app and just look and whatnot. And I saw your face and I showed her like, is this Amir?
Do we know him?
So how did that come to play? And what do you do for that?
The Nike training app, that was a project that what Nike did. They flew me out there last year of Juneteenth, and had a production for the NTC yoga, and it was amazing. I can say Nike by far best company I worked with as far as how they treat you, their respect of how they treat their talent. Their production team was like really cool. I love the atmosphere that they brought me, because the majority of the production team were like all athletes at one point. There was it was cool. Just the atmosphere they had. It was like, oh, this is dope. Like it was great. That was just like a little one-time thing we did with them. Okay. But just doing it with them, it was a great experience. And hopefully that they will want to do something more and collaborate more in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll keep looking.
Yeah, no, that was dope for sure. Now, a question for you. For someone who has never tapped into yoga, but they've watched from afar and heard about it, they know the benefits in their mind. It's like, I just don't know where to start. Do I tap into the studio? Do I try online? But I feel like I need community support. How would you best guide them?
Just start. Just jump in, just like you would do with anything else. there's no wrong way to approach yoga. It either you find it, but most of the time it will find you. There's no wrong approach. You don't have to be flexible. People think
that's a big misconception.
Yo, I couldn't do the same thing. There's a lot of things that I couldn't do that I'm like, why? Like, I can't touch my toes. I can't do this. I can't. But
that's amazing.
Right.
To see the poses you get in, that is amazing.
Yeah, now you got your toe in your ear. I mean, you think you couldn't touch your toe?
But that just didn't happen overnight. You know, I've been practicing for over 11 years now. So just starting to practice, and you see yourself grow in it just like anything else. You see how far you've come, like, oh wow, well, I remember when I couldn't sit in a chair like this, and you feel like your posture's different. Or I remember when I sat Indian style and my left leg was up because, you know, but now over the years, like this leg is down. Like there's certain adjustments that you'll feel in your body as the more you practice. So like my teacher said, and I tell my students, it's all a journey. There's no destination to take it practice. Like you can take it consistently for 3 years, not take it, but come back in, and you've noticed that you found more depth in like a posture or more body awareness for just taking the time off. But then you're probably still tense, but just like anything, it's like a muscle memory. The body will remember like, oh, okay. And then it'll even open up even more to where you were when you started. It's a beautiful journey. Like,
I love that. Yeah. Now, what about the elite athlete that's working on their skill 6 days a week, that's hitting the weights, 3 to 5 times a week, that has to do their rest and recovery? Where does yoga fit in?
Great question. It's a counterbalance to your practice. Just like you heard, hidden away, everything is just pound, pound, pound. A lot of players, by the time they get into like preseason or whatnot, or just when the season starts, they're already injured because all the pounding that they did.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I believe yoga comes in preseason and at the end of the season and in the middle of the season. Like there's no time where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to do yoga for preseason and I'm going to go hard. Like, no, because what happens is by the time you get into the playoffs or towards the end of the season, you fell short because you got injured, your body's fatigued, and now you've worn out. So what yoga does is brings in injury prevention. It brings in better lung capacity, brings in self-awareness. It brings in more body awareness. It improves circulation into the body. It is a lot that it brings in as you are training for your season and postseason. So,
is it a workout in and of itself, or would you say it's good post lifting?
For me personally, I like to stretch like after lifting weights.
Okay.
So what I used to do, like when I was in my training, I would train first, and then after my training, I would go do yoga.
Okay.
So if you're in football training, after you do your scrimmages and your practice, after that scrimmage or whatnot, rest, go take a yoga class in the evening. Like,
do you find that helped keep you like less sore because of the increased circulation or whatnot?
Yeah, it increases a lot of blood circulation back into the body, a lot of healing. So when a lot of people do physical therapy, I know for myself being like an athlete, we always used to go to like the PT. And what really PT does is it's more something that you take care of like after training. Right. You're not consciously or mentally like healing yourself. They're helping you like after your injury. So yoga is helping you before that injury. That's self-prevention, decreasing the chances of you getting injured more. Or if you do get injured while you're practicing yoga, you will come back faster, than your recovery will be faster. So for example, for myself, when I was playing arena football, I tore ligaments in my ankle. This was like middle of the season. I was frustrated because I'm like, man, we're about to have playoffs and I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. And they told me I was basically done for the season. I was going to be out for 16 to 18 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I went back home. I did yoga consistently every day, and I got back within 6 weeks. So I was able to make the playoffs. Yeah, you just see the recovery is just faster when you implement yoga with your training, just with anything that you do.
Okay. And how about like muscle definition and strength? Can somebody get that from yoga, or do you have to complement it with lifting?
Definitely can get it with yoga. When we lift, we do a lot of wear and tear on our joints. So knee joints, ankles, elbows. But what you're doing with yoga, you're also being able to open that part of your body, like your triceps. You're bringing back that elasticity into the muscles and bringing back more blood flow. That's going to lubricate your joints, like the synovial fluid in between the joints. Mm-hmm. It really brings in the definition and the strength. I know when I was practicing, I was 220, but I was so lean. I was like 3% body fat. Like
that's what looks the best and feels the best.
It felt the best. At the time, though, for me, I was self-conscious about myself because I'm used to being like
huff.
Man, and every time I look myself in the mirror, I'm like, why am I not got the huff? Like, why the huff not there? But actually, I was like just trimming because I was still the same weight. I probably lost like 5 pounds, 10 pounds. I was 210, but I was lean. I was explosive, just strong off the line, like just very powerful. I felt very powerful when practicing as an athlete. Like the strength with yoga, whatever sport you're in, you just feel so, it's a great feeling. Like
empowerment all the way around.
All the way around. It's so wholesome. Like really, and that's why it inspires me to bring yoga to athletes, because that's like, I just feels like it brings you into like a well-rounded person, like, as far as just on the field and literally off the field and into life. If I didn't practice yoga, I don't know where I would be right now, especially with everything that's going on, 2020.
Oh my goodness.
Like people are mentally exhausted, but I feel like the strength with yoga brings in like you're building, like lifting weights with your brain. Like I look at it.
It's a muscle. Yeah.
It's a muscle, that's a muscle too. So once you bring that mental stamina in, and you have that mental stamina and you have that body stamina, it's like, it's great.
Untouchable. Take on the world. Let's go. And that's what everyone wants right now.
Exactly, for real.
Like, how can I level up? Well, YogiAthlete.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's jump into it. Let's unlace Amir. Let's get into it.
So here at Unlaced Project, after we've spoken with you and unlaced your story, we like to connect it back to a shoe that also represents who you are and just what you're doing. So for you, Amir, we chose, it's a new shoe right now. It's hot. It's one of the sought after shoes, the Jordan 4 Union LA Desert Moss. And we chose this because, as you say, yoga is often interpreted as the union of breath and body and mind. And you called that yoking. So this is the LA Union. So we used the word union there. And then we also chose the colorway is the Desert Moss. And we feel like that kind of hints towards just the earthy tones that you can see in a yoga studio. So this is your shoe. This is officially now a yoga shoe.
This YogiAthlete shoe all on it.
Hard.
It's a hot cop right now.
It is.
Yeah, that's icy.
Have you seen this shoe?
I have seen that show.
I know you have.
Yeah, that's super icy. I like how y'all did that. That's super dope.
That's now your shoe. You see all these people wearing it like, no, wait a minute. That's my shoe.
Yeah.
That's a YogiAthlete.
YogiAthlete right there. And that's funny you say that, because working with Nike, I was like, man, I would love to make like a YogiAthlete shoe. Like,
be dope. Telling you.
There you go.
Nike, what's up? We got our boy here. He's ready. You know his work. Let's get it done. I'm all about getting it done.
Yep.
Definitely. But we do have a lot of great projects into works with YogiAthlete that I can't talk about, but there's
okay.
So just stay tuned.
I mean, yeah, so definitely stay tuned. Yeah, thank y'all for having me. This is
welcome. Give the website, social media, so everybody can find you.
Yeah, definitely. You can find Yogi Athlete at weareyogiathletes.com. Our Instagram is Yogi Athlete. My personal Instagram is Amir_Yogi Athlete. Tap into our yoga website. All our classes are on demand. Check us out and just, yeah, stay tuned for what we got.
Stay tuned. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
we're here for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank y'all.
And we'll be on the lookout.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Steph.
All right. Have a good one.